Charlie, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you here at National Careers Week. And all of the people watching are desperate to know about all of the different creative things that you do because you do have a very varied portfolio.
Yeah,
It's really exciting. So,
yeah,
should we start off by you introducing yourself, who you are, what you do?
yeah. So my name is Charlie, and I'm a radio presenter and producer. In the past, I've had experience with running my own podcast, contributing to other people's podcasts. And then in recent years, I've launched my own creative events business, which is just an opportunity for people that are not getting their foot in the door within certain industries across broadcasting, etc., to actually have that opportunity at a super affordable and inclusive rate. So yeah, it's all really exciting.
And just straight off the bat, let's do a quick plug for Industry Tea. That's the name of it, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, so the Industry Tea is the name of the creative events brand. We launched in June 2023, and what we did was had actually a massive open day for anybody with an interest in the creative field. So my main thing is I don't want to see a CV necessarily because you might not have one. I don't necessarily care if you have experience or not, because maybe you're just passionate and need an opportunity to find out whether or not you want to gain the experience. So that event, we had a casting director on the panel. We had somebody from talent and acquisitions from the BBC on the panel. We had a Hollywood-based actress on the panel. It was amazing. Some people got opportunities. Somebody got signed through something. It literally was just an open door. If you're a singer, an actor, dancer, or if you have an interest in those areas and no one's giving you an opportunity, come along to our event, talk to these big people, pitch yourself if you wanted to. I also had a cheeky open mic, and see what happens for you. It literally is just a free for all, age 16 and above. Some of the events age 18 and above, but essentially it is for everybody what we do.
I love that. So everyone go follow Industry Tea immediately and make sure that you're going along to the events because it sounds like there's loads of opportunities there.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to the creative industries, especially for young people that write to me. They have an interest, for example, in learning about investments from a very young age, or learning how they can get on the property ladder in different ways. So one of the events I actually put together was called Money, Business, Property. And again, on this panel, they all gave their time for free. We had somebody who specializes in investments. We had an accountant who has quite the list of like talent and Hollywood people on his roster, which is amazing.
Wow.
And somebody who works within the housing sector and literally talk to young people about shared accommodation, private renting, social housing, all these different loopholes and benefits and support you can get. I even learned from it. And we have had 3 young people actually tell us that they're doing really well as a result of that event. So that's incredible for me to
Oh,
have been able to give that opportunity and to realize that it was beneficial.
oh, absolutely amazing. I mean, what a thing to be able to do. But
Yeah.
like you said, you haven't always been in events. So talk to us a little bit about your kind of career journey.
Yeah, so I actually, when I was in school, I went to St Angela's in East London, in Forest Gate. It's an all-girls school. We had a really great opportunity via our drama teacher. She had invited the local Theatre Royal Stratford East, to come in and see some of us young aspiring actors. And I was fortunate enough to be one of those who was chosen to join the youth theatre. And literally, I ran with that opportunity. I would talk to anybody and everybody. I would say yes to auditioning for all the different roles. I'd make the most of any role that I was given. And I think kind of being not necessarily confident, but being really focused on just the opportunities that might present themselves to you and not allowing them to pass you by meant that by the time I had left school and left college, I was hosting events. I was presenting some events for people. And off of the back of that, somebody saw me and said, "You've got a great voice, you should be on radio." I had no experience in radio, but again, being kind of like an excited kid and wanting to just learn as much as I could, I said, okay, teach me what I need to know and let's give it a go. And through that, I've been able to give other young people opportunities. I was one of the first at the initial radio station that I joined to run an internship completely free for young people to learn how to present on radio, how to produce for radio, learn about behind the scenes with engineering, anything they wanted to learn they got to learn, and it's something that I still run to this day. So that started in 2012. So it's a long time, but it's been amazing.
I mean, it speaks volumes, the fact that you were, I guess, given all these opportunities because, I mean, you do clearly have so much energy. You can really get that
Thank you.
even off a video call.
Yeah.
and you've got
Yeah.
such a way about you.
Yeah.
For the young people watching who would like to get their foot in the door of maybe it is
Mm,
radio or presenting
yeah.
or anything along
Yeah.
that, how can they replicate, I guess, being that yes person?
Yeah, I think because I realize it isn't easy. Not everybody's got that sort of confidence or that sort of energy about them. But if you have a genuine interest, or even if you're just a little bit curious, look at things that are less daunting and less intimidating with radio. For example, I don't know how many people might know this, but hospital radio is such a great place to start because they're always looking for young people. They're always looking for people that just have a little bit about them. But there's no pressure with hospital radio because it's all done for you. So you're literally going in and you're getting the experience, but the job's being done for you, and you can just take your foot off the gas and leave yourself open to learning. And a great place to start is radiolollipop.org, I think the website is. They always want to hear from people that are interested in getting into hospital radio because they constantly need people. So that would be a great place to start. And also pirate radio stations. Again, they might seem intimidating, but actually they're ready to hear from young people. Deja Vu FM, West Side Radio, all these kind of platforms really want to hear from young people. So the key thing is to find out who the contact is, learn a little bit about the radio station, listen to some of the shows, try and get a sense or a feeling for what would you like to do on the radio, then send a really short email just saying who you are, be honest about you have a genuine interest, you don't really know where to start, can they help you? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yeah. And when there's an opportunity, they'll contact you and bring you in. You can also message me because if there's an opportunity that I can give, I always give it 100%.
Well, I just feel like that is the most actionable tip. I think I've had so
Yeah.
far. I mean, I've learned so much from that. Your hospital radio would never even cross my mind.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I mean, it makes so much sense. If there's, better sell to come to one of your events, then I don't know what is, like, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And also I think, from the summer, our events will be pay what you can, which technically means free. So the industry tea underscore on Instagram, stay following us. And if we sort of like highlight an event that you think could benefit you, then definitely come along.
And this is the energy, and these are the kind of tips that you'll be able to get from it.
Yeah, 100%.
So in your experience, radio, so obviously radio or podcast, everyone does kind of know that presenting is a job that you can do, and probably a producer as well. You always hear presenters mentioning the producers on air.
Yeah.
What are the other roles that you can do in radio, and what do you think is the most underrated role?
Engineer, I think, if I'm being honest with you, because the engineers, they're across everything. They have to be. So from people that might be just coming in to do voiceovers, which are called jingles on the radio station, they have to kind of manage that studio, which is a separate studio to the one where the presenters are running the shows. And it's a role that means you're across everything, you're connected to everybody, you have a very good understanding of what's going on across the radio. So of course, if you wanted to then transition into another role, you're probably going to be the one that's best equipped because you've got all these diverse skills that you've been having to use because you're in the booth with the voiceover talent, you're in the studio with the presenters, sometimes you're in the office with the producers. So I think nobody really talks about the engineers that work within radio, but it's an incredible role. Sometimes when I go in, I just want to sit and learn or watch or observe them because it's fascinating.
Absolutely. And it's like a completely opposite kind of person, I suppose, to the one that you would normally associate with radio. Like, I imagine they're quite introverted, quite happy to sit in a room with lots of buttons and stuff.
Spot on. They literally are spot on. But it's just amazing because they can easily come and sort of work alongside the presenters and help us with something, or the producers, or a DJ. Sometimes on radio, especially maybe with pirate radio or the pre-mainstream radio stations, you have DJs that are simply doing a DJ set. So you might not hear them speak at all. They're just playing music for the whole time. But that doesn't mean that something can't go wrong. And they might then need the engineer to come in and help them out with a few buttons or wires or something else. So I think it's an incredibly important role, but not one that is spoken about a lot.
No, never. Very behind the scenes. No, that's a really good insight into, I guess, the unknown. And we mentioned, I mentioned before we started recording that one of the big themes this week is that we really want to disrupt this idea that there is radio and only two jobs in radio, that like every creative industry is very, specific, has clear peripheries. they're all bleeding into each other, they all overlap, they're all very
Yeah.
muddled up. You moving from, you know, radio and presenting into events is a really good example of that. You know, you have lots of skills
Yeah.
that are so transferable over so many different
Yeah.
things. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, did you realize that when you first started your career, that you would be able to move into other things?
No, I think I was quite cheeky when I was young, and just if something took my fancy, I was not afraid to just pursue it. What does that look like? Why do I have that interest and passion? What do I need to know? I don't come from a privileged background, so I couldn't just go and study all these different things or get all these qualifications that people were talking about. But what I could do was knock on doors relentlessly and say, please give me an opportunity. So, for example, with events, I think it was in 2011, maybe, I'm not entirely sure. My cousin had launched a PR business, and I cheekily went along, even though I wasn't supposed to whatever meeting she was having. And then just said, you mentioned events. Can I just stay in shadow and learn? Fast forward a few years ahead, I was then her event coordinator.
Mm.
And I didn't realize, I'm being very honest, I didn't realize that I would be so passionate about the way that I was coordinating things. It was more about looking after the people, making sure that everything would run seamlessly, that nobody was stressed out. And then a few years into that, I thought, hold on, nobody's doing events where people are just given an opportunity to come and learn or get what they're not getting elsewhere. So, for example, with actors, a lot of them say, if I don't have an agent, I can't get an opportunity. But if I don't get an opportunity, I have no content to show an agent. That's what the industry tea is. It's saying, we don't need you to have all of that. We just need to know that you're curious, you have an interest, and we'll give you an opportunity to either learn or build your network, grow your contacts list, take from the events what you can take from it. So I didn't always know, but the moment I did know, I focused and committed myself to learning everything I needed to learn about events so that one day I can launch my own events business. And I didn't know how I would do that, but here we are today.
No, I absolutely love that. And that's such a good point to keep an open mind, recognize what your own personal, like, I guess keep an ear to the ground for what you're
Yeah,
actually enjoying. Like you were saying,
yeah,
you know, you didn't realize that kind of the organization side of things
no,
was something that you were doing.
yeah.
But
And
you know,
just not to put pressure on yourself. I think, sadly, a lot of young people, they have their foot on the gas. I think they feel pressure to know what they want to do, know exactly where to go. Actually, there's no fun in that. The fun is in taking the pressure off yourself, letting yourself know that it's okay that you have so many different interests, and knowing that you can look into all of them, and you can start on Google, just research your interests, find out what's available. Are there free events that you can attend? Is there somebody that you can just drop an email to and talk to? Take the risk, because the worst thing that can happen is you get no response, but at least you put yourself out there. The best thing is that can happen is that you get an opportunity. So I think just always put your best foot forward, don't pressure yourself, have fun with everything you're doing, and be open to the possibility of change, because the creative industry is like that anyway. You can do everything you want to do, you just have to be certain that it is what you want to do. So just take the pressure off. It's so much fun.
yeah, absolutely. Working in the creative industries, I think, is, you know, such a privilege in itself because you are
Yeah,
able to be creative, have fun with
yeah,
it, you know, explore different avenues. It does actually encourage
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, in the very limited time that we have left, what advice would you give your younger self if you were talking to you at school right now?
Don't follow everybody else. Literally, sometimes, I remember when I was at school, there was always sort of like the popular thing to do or the cool thing to do. And even if I didn't really feel like I wanted to do it, in order for me not to be the one that doesn't look cool, I would do it. But I've realized as an adult that it's not necessarily wrong, but it's more beneficial to you to really stay true to who you are. So it's okay to not know what you want to do. And maybe sometimes following the crowd helps you to realize what you want to do. But I think it's important to know that you do not have to follow everyone else. You really can just do whatever it is you want to do, especially within the arts and entertainment and the creative industries. You might have a passion for acting, but you might also be a writer. So why can't you write and act? You might also, in addition to being an actor and a writer, want to just have your own blog. That's what I did. So I found out how to have my own blog and I started blogging. Don't limit yourself, is what I would say to myself. Know that your passions are valid. They're there for a reason, and you definitely should pursue them to the best of your ability. There's so many options out there. So I get excited for today's young people, because if you're not limiting yourself, you're going to realize just how much is available to you.
I feel like that is the most fantastic note to end on. I mean, that is such a lovely takeaway. Thank you so much, Charley, for
You're welcome.
being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
No,
It's an
it's an
honor. It's
absolute
an honor.
pleasure. Oh, thank you so much.